بنا واهدنا به لما اختلف فيه من الحق بإذنك إنك تهدي من تشاء إلى صراط مستقيم وانصرنا به على عدوك وعدونا إله الحق آمين اللهم إنا نشكو إليك فقد نبينا صلواتك عليه وآله وغيبة ولينا وكثرة عدونا وقلة عددنا وشدة الفتن بنا وتظاهر الزمان علينا فصل على محمد وآله وأعنا على ذلك بفتح منك تعجله وبضر تكشفه ونصر تعزه وسلطان حق تظهره ورحمة منك تجللناها وعافية منك تلبسناها برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم والعن وأهلك أعداءهم أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear brothers and sisters, we begin with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and with the praise of subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah has given us this opportunity, and may Allah increase the love of Amirul Momaneen alayhi salam in all of your hearts. We pay our condolences to the Imam of our time, Imam Zaman, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Faraja, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hasten his reappearance. For the early reappearance, hastening of the reappearance of Imam Zaman alayhi salam, please recite a salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajjal farajahum. Allahumma al'an qatalat al-Amir al-Mu'mineen. This is a very tragic day. In this day, Amir al-Mu'mineen, one of the best makhluk of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he was struck by one of the most wretched person. May Allah take away his mercy from Ibn Mulzim. I request our brother Haider Sayyid to please recite a salam. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. نکلا ہے جنازہ کوئی اللہ کے گھر سے افلاک میں ایک شور ہے ماتم کے اثر سے افسوس کے مسجد میں نمازی گیا مارا افسوس کے مسجد میں نمازی گیا مارا کچھ کم نہیں یہ حشر قیامت کے اثر سے نکلا ہے جنازہ کوئی اللہ کے گھر سے عباس ذرا زینب مضطر سے خبردار عباس ذرا زینب مضطر سے خبردار فریاد سے ہٹ جانا چادر کہیں سر سے نکلا ہے جنازہ کوئی اللہ کے گھر سے ہے بھولنا جانا انہیں کوفے کے مکینوں، ہاں بھولنا جانا انہیں کوفے کے مکینوں، گزریں گی یہ شہزادیاں اس راہ گزر سے، نکلا ہے جنازہ کوئی اللہ کے گھر سے، یاد آ گیا زینب کو وہ پہلو شکستہ، یاد آ گیا زینب کو وہ پہلو شکستہ، رومال ہٹایا گیا بابا کے جو سر سے، نکلا ہے جنازہ کوئی اللہ کے گھر سے، زینب سے یہ کہہ دو کہ وہ دل کھول کے روئے، زینب سے یہ کہہ دو کہ وہ دل کھول کے روئے، شبیر کی ہمشیر ہے رونے کو نہ ترسے، نکلا ہے جنازہ کوئی اللہ کے گھر سے، افلاک میں ایک شور ہے ماتم کے اثر سے، صلوات اللہم صلی اللہ
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. Jazakallah, brother. Now I request our brother Hassan Razanaqvi to please recite a Marsia. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
محمد وعلى محمد لم ترن عليه الصلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.
فاتحة. بسم الله. اکیسویں کی رات قیامت کی رات تھی، اکیسویں کی رات قیامت کی رات تھی، سادات پر بلا کی مصیبت کی رات تھی، محشر کی صبح تھی کہ شہادت کی رات تھی، بیٹوں سے بوترا کی رخصت کی رات تھی، بیٹوں سے بوترا کی رخصت کی رات تھی، کہتے تھے دل دو نیم ہے ایسا خطر
ہے آج بیزار راہ خلق سے اپنا سفر ہے آج شبر میرے یتیموں کو شفقت سے پالیو تم اپنے نانا جان کے گھر کو سنبھالیو شبیر پر بلا کوئی شبیر پر بلا کوئی آئے تو ٹالیو دیکھو کڑی نگاہ بھی اس پر نہ ڈالیو دیکھو کڑی نگاہ بھی اس پر نہ ڈالیو اس کا لحاظ چاہیے تم کو کہ خود ہے بیٹا میرا حسین تمہارے سپرد ہے اے میرے جانشی میرے دلدار الوداع اے نور عین احمد مختار الوداع سونپی تمہیں رسول کی سرکار الوداع اے امت رسول کے غم خوار الوداع اے امت رسول کے غم خوار الوداع شبر جو میرے دوست ہیں ان سب سے ہوشیار مظلوم کربلا میری زینب سے ہوشیار یہ کہہ کے غم سے حال جو ہونے لگا تغیر بستر پہ اٹھ کے بیٹھ گئے شاعر دستگیر بولے حسین سے یہ امام فلک سریر بیٹا بڑا عالم ہے کہ عباس ہے صغیر بیٹا بڑا عالم ہے کہ عباس ہے صغیر اب آپ کے سپرد میرا لالا ہے بھائی نہ جانیو یہ تمہارا غلام ہے غل پڑ گیا کہ سید ابرار مر گئے لو جانشین احمد مختار مر گئے دین رسول پاک کے سردار مر گئے ماتم کرو کہ حیدر کرار مر گئے ارے ماتم کرو کہ حیدر کرار مر گئے روئیں جو بیبیاں تو پسر پیٹنے لگے عباس ننھے ہاتھوں سے سر پیٹنے لگے 21ویں کی رات
جزاک اللہ خیرہ صلو علی محمد و آل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم والعن وأهلك أعداءهم أجمعين. Brothers and sisters, um, as we know that these are the days of pandemic, I request everyone to please recite Suratul Hamd for all the Momaneen. May Allah elevate the difficulties of all the Momaneen. Please recite Suratul Hamd. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Just a quick announcement, inshallah, tomorrow we will have a speech. In fact, for the rest of the month of this holy blessed month of Ramadan, we have a speech every day. We are honored that we have our respected scholar, Syed Hasan Tabatabai, who will be addressing the Majilis, and there is a different topic for every day in these speeches. We will begin with the recitation of Quran and Dua E Iftitah, and inshallah we will then continue with the speech. Now, without any delay, I request our respected scholar to please address this Majlis. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صلى الله عليك يا مولاي يا رسول الله صلى الله عليك وعلى آلك المظلومين صلى الله عليك وعلى أخيك وابن عمك أمير المؤمنين وعلى وصيك أمين الله في أرضه وحجته على عباده لعن الله الظالمين لكم والغاصبين لحقكم ما خاب من تمسك بكم وأمنا من لجأ إليكم يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. It is narrated that when Sayyida Zainab al-Kubra Salam Alayha saw her father Ameer al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam bidding them farewell, she said, "Oh father, I want you to choose one of my brothers to be my guardian and protector." Imam Ameer al-Mu'mineen said, "Daughter, here your brothers are all in front of you. Choose whoever you want from them. Here is Hassan, here is Hussein." She said, "Father, Hassan and Hussein are my imams and my masters, and I am the one who's supposed to serve them. I want another individual from amongst my brothers who can help me and serve me. One day, I might be on a journey and I would need someone to take care of me." As if Sayyida Zainab Salamullahi alayha is referring to the day of Ashura, to the day that she will leave to Karbala Amir al-Mu'mineen said, choose any of your brothers, my daughter. Sayyidah Zainab, she gazed at her brothers. Her gaze fell on the moon of the tribe, on Qamar Bani Hashim, on Abul Fadl al-Abbas, Salamullahi alayhi. She said, I want my brother Abbas to be my guardian, my supporter, and my protector. Amir al-Mu'mineen called on his son. He told him, my son, come close to me. Then Imam Ali took Sayyida Zainab's hand and placed it in the hand of Abul Fadl al-Abbas. And he said, Zainab is my trust, and I place my trust in your hand, Ya Abul Fadl. Abbas's tears flowed on his cheeks. He said, Father, Father, I will make you proud. I will exert all my efforts in protecting and taking care of my sister. At that moment, Amir al-Mu'mineen began crying as he was staring at both Abbas and Zainab. I want to say, oh Moula, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, Zainab and Abbas are right there in front of you and you are weeping and crying. Ya Abul Hassan, what will happen to you when you see Zainab on the eve of the 11th of Muharram? What will happen to you when you see the great Abul Fadl al-Abbas lying on the coast of the Euphrates? Amir al-Mu'mineen, what will happen to you when she comes to him at night and mourns her brother Abbas? What do you think Zainab will tell Abul Fadl al-Abbas on that night? The poet says that there is a dialogue that happened between Abul Fadl and Sayyida Zainab in that night. As if Sayyida Zainab addresses her brother Abbas. Ya Abu Fadl, أنا زينب رد علي يا أبو فاضل خلي إيدك في إيدي يا أبو فاضل خلي إيدك في إيدي. As if she tells him, Abbas, it is me, your sister Zainab. Abbas, place your hands in mine, just as you held my hand on the night of our father's martyrdom. Sayyida Zainab, this Abbas does not have his hands anymore to place it in your hand. As if he says, Wallah la tijini Zainabi kitl junini La tijini Zainabi kitl junini. Zainab, do not approach me. Do not come close to me. You cannot bear to see what they have done to me. Zainab, they have severed my right and left hand. Zainab, don't look at my eyes. I don't want you to see the arrow that pierced my eyes. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا آل بيت رسول الله أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. For the love of Ameer al-Momaneen, please recite aloud Salawat. First of all, I would like to offer my condolences to the Imam of our time, to the awaited Savior, to the Imam who will fill this earth with justice and equity, just as it is filled now with injustice and tyranny. Imam al-Mahdi al-Muntadhar, may Allah hasten his reappearance. Our great scholars, ulama, the Muslim world, especially to you brothers and sisters, on the martyrdom anniversary of our Moula, our master, our commander, our Imam, our leader, Ameer al-Momaneen Ali ibn Abi Talib, Salamullahi alayhi. May Allah grant us the tawfiq to visit his holy shrine in this dunya and to gain his shafa'ah, his intercession in the world to come, and to get the tawfiq to serve his son, Sahib al-Asri wa Zaman, in this dunya with the blessings of Allah. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The remembrance of the martyrdom of Ameer al-Mu'mineen, Salamullahi alayhi, brings pain and sorrow to our hearts. Not only with regards to the oppressions that Ameer al-Mu'mineen, Salamullahi alayhi, faced, but for the nation that does not admit his greatness, a nation that does not know its own value. It is painful to see that this Ali, Salamullahi alayhi, who gave everything in the way of Allah, this great man is killed in the name of Islam and in the names of the principles that Ali was a soldier for. No one gave Islam like he did, for he was Sayfullah wa Rasulah. He was the sword of Allah and his messenger. He was the ambassador of the Prophet. He was the Prophet's brother, confidant, successor, and he was the Prophet's vicegerent. The cursed Ibn Muljam did not simply kill Imam Ali. Rather, he killed virtue and faith itself. He killed justice and fairness itself. By murdering Ali, he killed salah and siyam, prayer and fasting. He shed the blood of the laws and commandments of Allah. But him and the enemies of Ali were heedless of Allah's words. يريدون أن يطفئوا نور الله بأفواههم ويأبى الله إلا أن يتم نوره ولو كره الكافرون. They desire to put out the light of Allah with their mouths, but Allah will perfect his light, though the faithless should be averse. Brothers and sisters, in today's Majlis, I would like to touch upon some of the features of the leadership of Ameer al-Mu'mineen, Salamullahi alayhi. Ameer al-Mu'mineen, as you know very well, had led in the city of Kufa for a period of 4 years and a few months. So what were the features of the leadership of Ali, Salamullahi alayhi? The first feature that everyone can notice in the leadership of Ameer al-Mu'mineen is leadership or rulership or governance to Ali was a means, not a goal. Ameer al-Mu'mineen taught us that leadership, that rulership is a means, is a tool, not a goal. It wasn't an aim. when one becomes a leader, he did not reach to his goal. He got a tool, and through this tool, he can reach to the goal. So what are the aims or what are the goals behind all this leadership? It is to establish the principles of Allah, to uphold the principles of Allah, to serve Islam, to eradicate oppression, to side with the oppressed, to serve the people, and for us to prepare the reappearance of the Imam of our time. Some of the companions of Ameer al-Momaneen, Salam Alaykum, entered upon our Imam in his house, and they said to him, "O Ameer al-Momaneen, why don't you spend the wealth and give some preference to the noble clans of the Arabs, to the noble clans of Quraysh? Give them some preference over the other tribes, over the non-Arabs. And also appease those who you fear may turn against you. Give them something. Give them a position. Give them some money. Give them some special care, some special distinction from the rest of the society, so that they would not run away to Muawiyah or to your enemies and adversaries." Ameer al-Mu'mineen Salamullahi alayhi immediately responded to them, "Ata'muruni an atluba an-nasra bil-jawr? Do you want me to seek victory by committing injustice? Do you counsel me to enlist help by unfairness?" Then Ameer al-Mu'mineen said, "No, by Allah, I shall never do it. For as long as the sun shines and the stars in the sky twinkle, by Allah, if their wealth had belonged to me, I would have distributed equally to them. So how can I discriminate when this wealth that is in my hand belongs to all of them?" The Imam also said, "Wallah, law u'titu al-aqalim as-sab'a bima tahta aflakiha ala an a'si Allah fi namla aslibuha jilba sha'iratin ma fa'alt." By Allah, if I was given all the 7 domains, with all that exists under its celestial spheres, in order that I may disobey Allah, to the extent of snatching a single grain of barley from an ant, I would not do it. I would not use this position to oppress Allah's creation, not just human beings, Allah's creation, because the Imam is the Imam over all of Allah's creation. So the first feature that we notice from the leadership of Ameer al-Mu'mineen is that leadership for him is a means, is a tool. It's not a goal and not an aim. The second feature of our Imam's leadership is that he had a sense of community. Ameer al-Mu'mineen Salamullahi alayhi had social intelligence, primal empathy. His leadership was about reaching out to people and ensuring that everyone is treated equally under his reign. Imam's leadership wasn't about nepotism, materialism, discrimination, so on and so forth. Let me share with you a story about Ameer al-Mu'mineen when it comes to the feeling for the community and society, how he used to feel the pains of those who are under him. Harun, son of Antara, once came to Imam Ali alayhi salam. He entered into his house in Kufa and he saw our Imam, as usual, sitting, living a very simple life. He was sitting on a mat. He told him, "Ya Ameer al-Mu'mineen, why are you sitting on such a mat when the entire Islamic treasury, the entire Muslim treasury is under your control? You have all the money under your command, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. Why can't you buy something nice for yourself? And you're the leader, and you're the commander, and you're the Khalifa. Imam Salamullahi alayhi looked at him and said, by Allah, I will not take anything of your money. The stuff that you are seeing in my house, these are the stuff that I brought with me from Medina. It's not something that I even bought in Kufa. Then the Imam said, وَلَوْ شِئْتُ لَاهْتَدَيْتُ الطَّرِيقَ إِلَى مُصَفَّى هَذَا الْعَسَلِ وَلُبَابِ هَذَا الْقَمْحِ وَنَسَائِجَ هَذَا الْقِزْ. If I wished, I could have taken the way leading me towards the worldly pleasures like, this pure honey, fine wheat, and silk clothing. Then the Emir said, وَلَكِنْ هَيْهَاتْ أَن يَغْلِبَنِي هَوَاي وَيَقُودَنِي جَشَعِي إِلَى تَخَيُّرِ الْأَطْعِمِ. But it cannot be that my passions lead me and greed takes me to choosing good meals, while in Hijaz or in Yamama, there may be people who have no hope of getting bread or do not have a full meal. أَوَأَبِيتُ مُبْطِنًا وَحَوْلِي بُطُونٌ غَرْثًا وَأَكْبَادٌ حَرًّا. Shall I lie with a satiated belly, while around me there may be hungry bellies and thirsty livers? أو أكون كما قال القائل, or shall I be, as the poet has said, وحسبك داء أن تبيت ببطنة وحولك أكباد تحن إلى القد. Is it enough for you to have a disease that you lie with your belly full, while around you people may be badly yearning for a dried meat? Amir al-Mu'mineen then said, أَأَقْنَعُ مِن نَفْسِي بِأَن يُقَالَ أَمِيرُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَلَا أُشَارِكُهُمْ فِي مَكَارِهِ الدَّهْرِ. Will I be happy to be called Amir al-Mu'mineen when I don't share the pains of their lives, when I don't share with the people the hardships of this world? Amir al-Mu'mineen, Salamullahi alayhi, led by example. He's the best exemplar. He's our role model. He didn't just lead by talks. He set the standards for kings and rulers, that their food and meal should be at most like the poorest person in their society. So long as there are poor people in the society, the rulers should not eat any fancy food. They should eat like them, so that they feel their suffering, so that they feel their pains and find a solution to their miseries. Amir al-Mu'mineen wanted to eradicate poverty in the society. He wanted to eliminate poverty and make people live a happy life. Islam guarantees happiness in this dunya as well as in akhirah, if it is actually applied and executed fully, not partially. And that's why Amir al-Mu'mineen, Salamullahi alayhi, even though in these 4 years, within these 4 years, even though he had to go through 3 major battles, he was able to eliminate poverty from the lands that he used to rule. Ubaidullah ibn Rafi' narrates that once I went to see Amir al-Mu'mineen on the day of Eid. While I was sitting there, a bag was brought before Amir al-Mu'mineen. It was sealed, closed. So I thought it might contain some money, some jewels, some, dinars. It is the day of Eid and it is a sealed bag, so probably there's something in it. Amir al-Mu'mineen opened the bag, and to Ubaidullah ibn Abi Rafi's surprise, it contained dried pieces of bread, which he has to soften it with water to be able to eat it. So Ibn Abi Rafi asked Amir al-Mu'mineen, what is the reason for sealing such type of food that even the beggar Even the poorest in the society would not even steal it, would not even care to steal it. Amir al-Momineen smiled and said, I am not covering it from the poor and the needy. I keep it sealed because my children, out of their mercy, they try to substitute it with softer bread containing some oil or butter in it. So Ibn Abi Rafi said, has Allah prohibited you from eating good type of food or better type of food? Amir al-Mu'mineen said, no, Allah did not prohibit me. But I want to eat the kind of food which the poorest person of this realm, all the land in which Amir al-Mu'mineen controls, can afford at least once a day. I shall improve it after I have improved their standards of life. I want to live, feel, and suffer like them. This is the second quality of the leadership of Ali. He had love for his community. He would never leave them behind. He feels their pains and suffer their sufferings. The third feature is the feature of accountability. Imam himself, Salamullah alayhi, was an accountable leader, no doubt in that. He would not spend a dirham or dinar of Bayt al-Mal, the public's treasury, for his own personal issues or issues that are not related to Bayt al-Mal. And the incident of Talha and Zubair is known to all of you. They entered upon Amir al-Mu'mineen when he was in Bayt al-Mal, and he immediately turned off a candle and lit another one. To their surprise, they asked him, what is the difference between the two candles? Amir al-Mu'mineen said, this one is from Bayt al-Mal, and this one is from my personal funds. And I know that you're not coming here for anything that has to do with the religion or with Bayt al-Mal or, something like that. You're coming here for your own personal thing. This is the leadership of Ali, a leader who leads by example. He also accounted for everything that is spent for the sake of the Islamic Ummah and for the sake of the Islamic community. The Imam used to account his governors and officers and make sure that they fully adhere to the rules and regulations of Amir al-Mu'mineen Salamullah alayhi. The story of Sauda bint Umar al-Hamadaniya, when Muawiyah asked her, is a clear example. When he asked her, what do you remember from the justice of Ali? She said to him, I'm actually remembering the day when I went to him with a complaint against one of his officers, and I went inside and I saw him offering a nafila prayer. When he sensed that I was there, he shortened his prayers and came to me and said, what is your need, O sister? Why have you come here? So when I presented the case to him and told him that his revenue officer was harsher than required taking taxes and revenues for the government, Amir al-Mu'mineen at that point started crying on his musalla, on his prayer mat. And then he turned to Allah and said, Allahumma anta shahida alayya wa alayhim anni lam amurhum bi dhulmi khalqik wala bi tarkika haqqik wala bi tarki haqqik. Oh Allah, you be witness on me and them that I did not ask any of my officers to be unjust to the people and not to leave your right. If someone from my officers has done this, then it's not me, it's not Ali who has commanded him to do so. Then he immediately asked for a paper and pen and started writing a letter to the officer instructing him to come back immediately to Amir al-Mu'mineen as soon as he sees this letter and to present his own side of the story. This is how Amir al-Mu'mineen led. He expected the same from his governors and officers, and he used to account them to ensure that justice and fairness prevails and that not even a single bit of oppression is being done against the inhabitants of the lands that were under the reign of Amir al-Mu'mineen Salamullahi alayhi. The fourth feature is, or the last quality that I want to talk about today, is that Imam suggested to his governors and officers to consult people, to regard people's suggestion. If someone comes with a suggestion, do not belittle the person. Do not throw the person away. Do not say to the person, who are you to suggest to me? Listen and benefit from the people's suggestion. Ameer al-Mu'mineen said, أعقل الناس من جمع عقول الناس إليه. The most intellectual person is the one who brings the minds of the people to himself. Meaning the most intellectual is he who consults people and benefits from their knowledge and experience before making decisions. There's nothing wrong with approaching people, talking to them, seeing what they have, and take the good from them and leave the rest. However, who is the right person to consult? Who is the right person to take experience from? Ameer al-Mu'mineen, Salam Alaykum, in letter 53 of Nahj al-Balagha, which is a letter that he wrote for Malik ibn Ashtar al-Naqai when he had appointed him as the governor of Egypt and the surrounding areas. He said to him, this is what Ameer al-Mu'mineen said to Malik, وَلَا تُدْخِلَنَّ فِي مَشُورَتِكَ بَخِيلًا يَعْدِلُ بِكَ عَنِ الْفَضْلِ وَيَعِدُكَ الْفَقْرِ. Do not include amongst those you consult a miser. Why? He would keep you back from being generous and caution you against poverty. وَلَا جَبَانًا يُضْعِفُكَ عَنِ الْأُمُورِ. And don't consult or don't include amongst those you consult a coward who would make you feel too weak for your own affairs. وَلَا حَرِيصًا يُزَيِّنُ لَكَ الشِّرَّ بِالْجَوْرِ أو شَرَهَ بِالْجَوْرِ. وَلَا حَرِيصًا يُزَيِّنُ لَكَ الشَّرَهَ بِالْجَوْرِ. Nor a greedy person who would make beautiful to you the collection of wealth through evil ways, through wrong ways. فإن البخل والجبن والحرص غرائز شتى يجمعها سوء الظن بالله. Miserliness, cowardice, and greed are different qualities that all fall under not having trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then the Imam says, the worst minister for you is he who has been a minister for the mischievous persons before you, and who joined them in sins. Therefore, he should not be amongst your chief men, because they are assistants of sinners, and they are brothers of oppressors. You can find good substitutes for them, who will be like them in their views and influence, while not being like them in sins and vices. They have never assisted an oppressor in his oppression, nor a sinner in his sin. They will give you the least trouble and the best support. They will be most considerate towards you and the least inclined towards others. Therefore, make them your chief companions in privacy as well as in public. So as a leader, one always needs to listen to people. Don't chase people away when they come with dear suggestions, but be careful who to consult. A person with the characteristics of miserliness, cowardice, greed, and who have assisted an oppressor in his oppression or a sinner in his sins and vices should not be concluded or consulted according to the words of Ameer al-Mu'mineen. This is what Ameer al-Mu'mineen Salamullahi alayhi left for us as a legacy. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Today, brothers and sisters, is the day of the 21st of the month of Ramadan. It is the day of the martyrdom of our Moula, of our master, of our father, Ameer al-Mu'mineen, Salamullahi alayhi. Today, we are all in pain due to this great tragedy, which left this world in darkness, as the light that used to illuminate and brighten this world for us has departed. Brothers and sisters, let us travel with our hearts to Kufa, to the scene after our Imam and Commander passed away. When Ameer al-Momaneen Salam Alayhi departed this world and left this transient world to the Eternal One, a touching scene took place. Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam uncovered the body of his father so he can wash him. He can do ghusl on him. What did he see when he uncovered him? He saw 1,000 marks on the body of his father. These were the marks that were left by the strikes of his enemies when he was fighting in the path of Allah. Enemies would strike him sometimes with arrows, spears, and swords. Those marks were left by the weapons on this holy body. This was a man who devoted his own life, his whole life, in the path of Allah and His Messenger. That's why when he passed away, Sayyida Zainab, Kulthum, all the women screamed for the loss of Ali. An uproar was heard in Kufa. The men and women came running towards the house of Ameer al-Mu'mineen. The orphans, the needy ones, the underprivileged ones were devastated by this, by hearing the cries of the society for the martyrdom of Ameer al-Mu'mineen. They all came weeping and crying for this great loss. It was a day similar to the day of Rasulullah's demise. The whole city was in the state of mourning. Imam al-Hassan washed the body of his father. Imam al-Hussein was pouring the water for his brother al-Hassan. When he finished washing him, he asked his sister Zainab to give him the remainder of the hanut of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. She rushed. When she opened the container of the hanut, a beautiful scent came out and spread all over Kufa. Because this hanut is from Jannah. This is from the kafur of heaven. Imam Hassan placed the hanut over his father. Imam Hussein said that when we were washing our father, we didn't need someone to turn the body. His body used to turn on its own because the angels were turning him for ghusl. His aroma was beautiful. It was sweeter than musk and amber. Imam then shrouded his father's body, placed him in the coffin, and then Imam al-Hassan, Imam al-Hussein carried the coffin from the back. All of a sudden, the front part of the coffin was risen. It rose on its own. Who was carrying it from the front? It was Jibreel and Mikael. Then they began walking. As they began walking, Imam Hussein began mourning his father. He said, La yawm ka yawmika ya abata. من أجلك تعلمت البكاء لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم وإلى الله المشتكى. Father, for your sake I have learned to cry. There is no day like your day, O Father. Verily we belong to Allah, and unto Him we shall return. We can only complain to Allah. Zainab was following her brother. They have taken the janazah out at night. When the children of Ali began walking towards the holy city of Najaf, some of the people, some of the women of Kufa followed. But Imam al-Hassan Salamullahi alayhi prevented them from attending the funeral. He told them to go back. No one is allowed to attend the funeral of Ali other than his children and some of his close companions. The Imam did not want anyone to know where he is buried. They carried it in the middle of the night. Your Imam was buried alone, just like his wife and Our Lady Fatima Al-Zahra, Salamullahi alayha. He was buried in secrecy. His grave was hidden for tens of years. It was only in the era of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq Salamullahi alayhi that people actually knew or started knowing where Ameer al-Momaneen is buried. Zainab was following her brothers. The poet came forward and said, أقبلت تمشي العقيل ومرت طير بويا يا حيدر يا بو الشيمة تصيح صدق يا بويا ابن عيش تصبح طريح قبل جسمك ريت ضم جسم اللحيات. Zainab was walking behind the coffin of Ali. At times she would fall down calling out, "Oh Father, oh Honorable Ali, is it true, oh Father, that you are lying in the coffin? Oh Father, I wish my body was buried before yours. Father, how many tragedies have I seen in my life? I have lost my grandfather, Rasulullah. I have lost my mother, and now I lose you." Yes, the children of Ali reached the holy city of Najaf. When they reached the spot that the Imam will be buried in, Jibreel and Mikael placed the coffin down. This was a sign that they have reached the land in which Allah wants Imam Ali alayhi salam to be buried in. Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein placed the coffin down. Imam al-Hassan started digging the earth. All of a sudden, he saw that there was a grave that was prepared. There was a tablet, a wooden board in the grave. A writing was engraved in this board. The writing says, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم هذا قبر ادخره نوح النبي لعلي وصي محمد قبل الطوفان ب700 عام. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. This is the grave that Prophet Noah had prepared for Ali, the successor of Muhammad, 700 years before the flood. So Imam al-Hassan prayed on the body of his father with his close companions. Then Imam al-Hassan placed the body of Ameer al-Momaneen in his grave. They finished the burial of Ali. Ajarakumullah. There was a companion called Sa'sa' ibn Sawhan who was with Ahlul Bayt Salamullahi alayhi. After they buried Ameer al-Mu'mineen, he stood beside the grave, placed one hand on his heart, and he threw sand on his head with the other hand. This was a sign of grief and mourning. Then he began lamenting and mourning for Imam al-Hassan. He was lamenting for the Imam, as Imam al-Hassan, Imam Hussein, Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, and Muhammad were crying for his lamentation. I say congratulations, Ya Sahsaha, for you were able to hold a majlis in which two of our masters, Imam al-Hassan, Imam al-Hussein, were present, and they were crying over your lamentations. Sahsaha said, ألا من لي بأنسك يا أخي ومن لي أن أبثك ما لدي بكيتك يا علي بدر عيني فلم يغن البكاء عليك شيئا. Oh Ali, I have shed my tears for your sake, but I see that my tears cannot bring you back to me. كفى حزنا بدفنك ثم إني نفضت تراب قبرك من يدي فيا أسفا عليك وطول شوقي ألا لو أن ذلك رد شيئا ولو سمع الردى مني نشيجي لما نزل الردى إلا علي. O Imam, I am depressed as I have buried you. I have witnessed your funeral, Ya Ameer al-Mu'mineen. Now I am wiping the dust of your grave from my hands. Oh Imam, I am overwhelmed with depression and I long for your presence. But I wish my depression and longing for you would bring you back to me. Yes, they buried Ameer al-Mu'mineen at night. Sa'sa' ibn Sawhan burst into tears. Indeed, all of Hassan, Hussein, Abbas, and Muhammad wept for their father and at the elegies of Sa'sa'. Then Imam al-Hassan, Imam al-Hussein, they headed back to the house. They hear the cry from a distance. They approached the voice. They saw an elderly man crying and weeping. They asked him, what is the matter? He said, I am an old man. I came to the city about a year ago. I am underprivileged, I am impoverished, and I am blind. Since I have arrived in the city, every night there is a man who would come to me, who would feed me, give me water, look after my affairs. So they asked him, what happened? He said, for the past 3 nights, I have not seen this man. He did not come back to me. Imam al-Hassan, he said, what did he look like? The man said, I am blind. I do not know how does he look. But every time he comes in, he came with a special aura. I hear the tasbih, the tahleel, the takbir from him and everything around him whenever he comes in. Imam al-Hassan said, these are the characteristics and qualities of our father, Ameer al-Mu'mineen, and we have just come back from burying him. The old man started crying, taking sand off the ground and pouring it on his head. He started screaming, Wa Imama, Wa Aliyah. Then he asked the Imams, take me to his grave, please. They took him to the grave of Ameer al-Mu'mineen. He threw himself on the grave of Ali and cried, Wa Imama, Wa Aliyah. Then he turned to Allah and said, Oh Lord, take my soul as well. I don't want to live after Ali ibn Abi Talib anymore. Indeed, this man died on the grave of Ameer al-Mu'mineen. Brothers and sisters, I want you to imagine the Ahlul Bayt days after Ameer al-Mu'mineen has passed away. The night of Eid has arrived. The Muslims were rejoicing because it is their Eid. But what was the state of Zainab al-Kubra? What was the state of Kulthum, Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein? Can they rejoice after they lost their father Ali? Did they ever rejoice in Eid al-Fitr after their loss of Ameer al-Momaneen? The poet comes forward and says that Zainab had a dialogue with the crescent of Shawwal. It is as if she said, Ijal Eid, ret la ijan. Ijal Eid, ret la ijan. ولا بين هلال بسمان واحنا بمياتمنا وبكانا من المصاب اللي دهانا البين فقد منا حمانا بالعيد يتجدد عزانا. She says, as if she says, Eid has come, but I wish the crescent of Shawwal never appears. As if she says the Muslims are rejoicing for Eid, but as for us, we are mourning our father Ali. Every Eid, our sorrow is renewed for the martyr of the month of Ramadan, for Ameer al-Mu'mineen Ali. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Wa sayalamu alladhina zalamu ala bayti rasulillah ayya munqalabin yanqalibun wal aqibatu lil muttaqin. Matama Hassan.
آج کوفے میں ہے کوہرام علی ہائے علی آج کوفے میں ہے کوہرام علی ہائے علی آج کوفے میں ہے کوہرام علی ہائے علی ہے فلک لرزہ براندام علی ہائے علی علی ہائے علی آج کوفے میں ہے کوہرام علی ہائے علی آج کوفے میں ہے کوہرام علی ہائے علی کون زخمی ہوا سجدے میں زمین کانپ اٹھی کس کا یوں خون بہا صبح اندھیرے میں ڈلی کیوں اجل لائی ہے پیغام علی ہائے علی علی ہائے علی آج کوفے میں ہے کوہرام علی ہائے علی آج کوفے میں ہے کوہرام علی ہائے علی آج کوفے میں ہے کوہرام علی ہائے علی گل ہوا ہائے یتیموں کا سہارا نہ رہا کون زینب کو بتائے تیرا بابا نہ رہا کیسے پائے گی وہ آرام علی ہائے علی علی ہائے علی آج کوفے میں ہے کوہرام علی ہائے علی آج کوفے میں ہے کوہرام علی ہائے علی آج کوفے میں ہے کوہرام علی ہائے علی آج پھر گلشن زہرا میں خزاں آئی ہے رنج و عالم کی ہر ایک سمت گھٹا چھائی ہے تھم گئی گردش ایام علی ہائے علی علی ہائے علی آج کوفے میں ہے کوہرام علی ہائے علی آج کوفے میں ہے کوہرام علی ہائے علی غش میں ہے زینب و کلثوم خدا خیر کرے دل عباس ہے مغموم خدا خیر کرے کانپ اٹھے ہیں در و دیوار علی ہائے علی علی ہائے علی आज कूफे में है कोहराम अली हाय अली, आज कूफे में है कोहराम अली हाय अली। शबे हिजरत जो रहा नफ्से पयाम्बर बनकर, फातहे बद्र ओहद फातहे खैबर बनकर, उठ गए मोहसिन इस्लाम अली हाय अली, अली हाय अली। आज कूफे में है कोहराम अली हाय अली, आज कूफे में है कोहराम अली हाय अली। बर मोहम्मद अहले बैत मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. أعظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمصاب أهل البيت عليهم السلام. I request for Syed Moulana Hasan Tabatabai to please recite this Yara.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. رحمك الله يا أبا الحسن، كنت أول القوم إسلاما وأخلصهم إيمانا وأشدهم يقينا وأخوفهم لله وأعظمهم عناء وأحوطهم على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وآمنهم على أصحابه وأفضلهم مناقبا وأكرمهم وأكثرهم سوابق وأرفعهم درجة وأقربهم من رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وأشبههم به هديا وخلقا ومنطقا وسمتا وفعلا وأشرفهم منزلة وأكرمهم عليه. فجزاك الله عن الإسلام وعن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وعن المسلمين خيرا. قويت حين ضعف أصحابه وبرزت حين استكانوا ونهضت حين وهنوا ولزمت منهاج رسول الله إذ هم أصحابه وكنت خليفته حقا. لم تنازع ولم تضرع برغم المنافقين وغيظ الكافرين وكره الحاسدين وصغر الفاسقين. فقمت بالأمر حين فشلوا ونطقت حين تتعتعوا ومضيت بنور الله إذ وقفوا فاتبعوك فهدوا فلو اتبعوك لهدوا. وكنت أخفضهم صوتا وأعلاهم قنوتا وأقلهم كلاما وأصوبهم نطقا وأكبرهم رأيا وأشجعهم قلبا وأشدهم يقينا وأحسنهم عملا وأعرفهم بالأمور. كنت والله عسوبا للدين أولا وآخرا، الأول حين تفرق الناس والآخر حين فشلوا. كنت للمؤمنين أبا رحيما إذ صاروا عليك عيالا، فحملت أثقال ما عنه ضعفوا وحفظت ما أضاعوا ورعيت ما أهملوا وشمرت إذ اجتمعوا وعلوت إذ هلعوا وصبرت إذا أسرعوا وأدركت أوتار ما طلبوا ونالوا بك ما لم يحتسبوا كنت للكافرين عذابا صبا ونهبا وللمؤمنين عمدا وحسنا. فطرت والله بنعمائها وفزت بحبائها وأحرزت سوابقها وذهبت بفضائلها. لم تفلل حجتك ولم يزغ قلبك ولم تضعف بصيرتك ولم تجبن نفسك ولم تخن. كنت كالجبل لا تحرك العواصف وكنت كما قال صلى الله عليه وآله آمن الناس في صحبتك وذات يدك. وكنت كما قال صلى الله عليه وآله ضعيفا في بدنك قويا في أمر الله متواضعا في نفسك عظيما عند الله كبيرا في الأرض جليلا عند المؤمنين. لم يكن لأحد فيك مهمز ولا لقائل فيك مغمز ولا لأحد فيك مطمع ولا لأحد عندك هواد. الضعيف الذليل عندك قوي عزيز حتى تأخذ له بحقه، والقوي العزيز عندك ضعيف ذليل حتى تأخذ منه الحق، والقريب والبعيد عندك في ذلك سواء. شأنك الحق والصدق والرفق، وقولك حكم وحاتم، وأمرك حلم وحزم، ورأيك علم وعزم فيما فعلت. وقد نهج بك السبيل وسهل بك العسير، وأطفئت بك النيران، واعتدل بك الدين، وقوي بك الإسلام والمؤمنون، وسبقت سبقا بعيدا، وأتعبت من بعدك تعبا شديدا. فجللت عن البكاء وعظمت رزيتك في السماء، وهدت مصيبتك الأنام. فإنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. رضينا عن الله قضاءه وسلمنا لله أمره، فوالله لن يصاب المسلمون بمثلك أبدا. كنت للمؤمنين كهفا وحصنا وقنة راسيا، وعلى الكافرين غلظة وغيظا. فألحقك الله بنبيه ولا حرمنا أجرك ولا أضلنا بعدك. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطاهرين. اللهم صل على
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. We conclude our Majlis tonight with the dua for Salam to Imam Zaman alayhi salam. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا، حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. والعن وأهلك أعداءهم أجمعين. Inshallah, tomorrow we will again start at 7 o'clock with Quran Halaqa. After that, there will be Dua E Iftitah, and then there will be a lecture from Syed Hasan Tabatabai, inshallah. Until then, Salam Alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.